Welcome, everyone, to Analytics Are For the Nerds. We are a Comedy Dynasty football podcast. We are in week 29, which is the conference championship. I just got a haircut. Let's see how long it takes the guys to notice. Let's go.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the dripping, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the
film festival. It's just a golf clap, right? They don't actually give you like a real clap. I feel like it's very, high society. They're not going to give you
Yeah, it's like a queef clap. Like
I'm never gonna get that image out of my head.
like that Moana.
Very clear 101 in this biggest foot in the mouth draft. And the 101, it's very clearly Rex Ryan, because that guy has definitely put some feet in the mouth.
That's so good.
100%. Guy loves feet, his white feet.
Big feet.
Lots of feet in
Little
the mouth.
feet.
I'm sure.
So many feet. Long live Dolly Parton.
Hold on, I gotta look up how
It's not. You're looking. Wait, do you not know who Dolly Parton is?
No, I know who she is. I'm just trying to see what she looks like now.
She's still with us?
No, I want to see what she looks like now, because like 10 years ago I would have. Oh, I still would. 100% still would. Absolutely. How old is she? She's got to be like 80, right? Are you judging me? I can't see you because I'm looking at Google.
That ticker. Let me see.
You're judging.
The double mustache and that is fucking gross. So, welcome.
I do want to be clear, though, that I have earned one, and Lou is depressed. There's a big difference. Lou is still trying to convince 16-year-olds he's cool, and they keep telling him they don't want weed from him. They can get it from anywhere.
Welcome, everyone. Look at you. Happy week 21. How are you feeling?
You said week 29 in the open, and I thought, man, I know this last week has felt like 8 weeks for probably
8 years.
most of us. Yeah. But I didn't know if you were doing it for a bit or just next, but yeah.
No, it did feel like the longest 8 years. So no, we are in week 21. We are in the conference championship. As you know, I've said it before on the podcast, if you don't talk about the bad things, it never happened. So I know, again, no real therapist would ever say that. No one that I've ever went to has ever said that. But we don't need to talk about this. We don't need to talk about a 4:30 game that happened on Saturday. We don't. Hello.
Let's go ahead, Ryan.
I just want to say that the last second of football that I watched all weekend was the last moment. It probably wasn't even all the way through the upright when I turned off the TV, but it was the last kick, of course, Denver to win the game. I didn't watch a single minute of football after that, and I vowed to not watch another minute of football for the rest of the year. I am boycotting the NFL. Nobody cares, but just it's a personal boycott because I'm pissed, so that's it. It's a personal strike, one of one. I'm just mad.
I am not only your friend, Ryan, but I also support you, and I love either your selfishness, or I'm going to say you're even a harder feminist. Now, I'm with you on this. I'm going to also not watch the NFL because I'm sick of it. For now, I'm sick of it for now.
Yep, I'll get back next year, but.
Yeah,
we don't play a little devil.
Well, this is our last show.
Let me play a little devil's advocate. And it's not the one thing, and I know you're not saying this, Ryan, or at least I don't think you are. The one thing I don't want to hear is the overboard of like there's some form of conspiracy against the Bills, because absolutely there is not, because if they wanted to market anyone, it would be their 6'5" beautiful of a man quarterback of the lovable losers that everybody in America wants to win. Like, I think for sure that would be a thing.
So, Louis, your hot take though, if there's no conspiracy, do you think there is a curse? Now, we had the Madden cover, we also had the Hard Knocks. We were on the Buffalo Bills were on that. Is there a curse over a conspiracy?
Or
is a conspiracy just
We are built a stadium over a Indian burial ground, so maybe moving across the street breaks the curse. Maybe that's it. That's all I have to go on if I'm going to pick a curse.
Are we sure though that the other area that it's being built on, that's not also an Indian? I mean, how big was this Indian?
It was not a lot of Indians. There was
The
more
entire
Cowboys.
New York State is.
There's a lot more Cowboys, obviously. So,
If we're still finding
That's really funny.
not
I'm sorry.
finding bodies.
Sorry, that was dumb. Yeah, I don't know how big. I hate when I laugh at my own jokes. I've been told. I think that was like kind of maybe I don't know. I don't even know if the cemetery thing is real. I just or the burial ground thing is real. I just have heard it and I've just run with it because anything you hear in Buffalo is true. Except for here's the thing. I am so much team catch. I felt like it was a catch. I said there was no way anybody in the world was going to convince me that it wasn't a catch. After reading the rules, I get why it was called that way. It doesn't make the rule not stupid as hell. I thought as soon as he showed control, which he did, and then gets touched, he's down by contact, and that's it. That's a catch. And I just thought that stopped the play there. But what they want is they want the completion of the catch first before down by contact it comes into effect. And obviously he didn't control it to the ground. But man, I don't want to even blame the call. I don't want to be that guy because 5 turnovers, that all that stuff there. I mean, they lost that game on the field. Quite honestly, and we're lucky to be in it at the end.
I'm gonna disagree on something you say, and I'm sure Ryan, who is a very intelligent attorney, will clearly back me up on this. But a sloppy, ugly win is still a win, and every team has 1 or 2 or 3 behind their season. And I don't care if you have 5 turnovers. It just matters.
Well, I mean, that's how they lost, though. I mean, of course teams find a way to overcome sometimes, but you can't blame the refs when you have 5 turnovers. I
can blame the refs, and I will for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, I think both things can be true. I know that they shot themselves in the foot with these turnovers, and I think the point is, though, if you look at the officiating, especially on the last drive, it's not even for me about the judgment call that is this amorphous idea. What is a catch in the NFL? There's really no good definition. And, what is it, like the Supreme Court's definition of pornography? It's it when you see it, right? But truthfully, that's not good enough at this stage. They talk about making a football move. Well, what the hell is a football move? I mean, controlling it to the ground, they call that so inconsistently. My problem, though, with the calls on the last drive were the fact that they were calling these ticky-tack fouls where you're not making those calls all game and then deciding on the last drive of overtime to penalize a team. You're not calling holding an illegal contact multiple, like 15, 20 yards down the field on Brandon Cooks. I know calls get missed all the time, but this game was not called closely as far as
you can say that. You can make that argument about call it both ways, but you can't say those 2 PIs were not PIs. I mean, Trey White was all over.
The second one was definitely not the one deep down the field.
Trey White was all over him.
No, you have to impede. Listen,
that one was so clear.
First of all, these things should be reviewable, and in big games like that, they should have Sky Ref looking at these and determining, because the key is you have to actually impede the progress. You have to impede the receiver in some way. This guy, Trey White, was wrapped around his hips at maybe a half second before the ball gets there. But what is he doing to impact his ability to catch the ball? Nothing. So that's a part of the rule that you have to factor in. And so for me, that's another problem. And regardless, like, again, I don't even want to get into the semantics or the a battle over whether or not there's a clear, an obvious overturning of it doesn't matter at this point. It's over. But just the nature of the game when it comes down to refs getting to decide the games, I have a problem with that because there's so much good in football. And to me, I'm sickened by the fact that it just was taken away by, and then the excuse about not wanting to take a closer look at the Brandon Cooks catch because you wanted to keep the game moving along. Are we kidding me? Like, what are we talking about here? So just take a close look. That's an important decision, important call, and you're just rushing past it.
I didn't
100%.
love that. I did not love that, but also in the same sense, I don't think I don't know if that credence of that Fox. I don't think that story is true that Fox was trying to rush the game. I just don't see that. But and also you're calling for the Sky refs to do this. Well, the Sky ref was to make this decision. I don't want it to involve more people that we don't see on the field. If you want to put the ref in and slow down the game and check every pass interference, if it gets challenged, sure, like that will slow down the game. I guess they could review it and do it. I don't want some guy that we can't even see that isn't accountable making more calls because they're making so many calls as it is, including the call to just keep that game going. There was someone up in New York that we'll never see, never know, that just called down and said, no, keep the game going. It's going. That wasn't the refs on the field. So we're blaming the refs on the field. They may have made the wrong call, but they weren't the ones that said that. Literally, they got called down and said, keep the play going. So there's a guy that doesn't have any accountability, and we never know who that is or what that called from. Is it Goodell sitting in his friggin' basement still from COVID and making it's just I don't love that. Like, are there 5 guys in that room? Are there 10 guys in that room? We don't know. We've never heard, and it's like some mystery. A call from New York. Like, I much rather have the refs on the field make mistakes and not it come from the top. It's way too much. It's no accountability. And now in this day of age of like sports gambling, like I don't trust any of it, and you shouldn't.
Well, and where was all the money on this game? Just if you want to go back to that, it was all on Buffalo.
Yep. The other, just also to money, which I think is kind of interesting. If we're talking about moving the game along, the longer this game is spread out and going over on things, the more money, the more people are watching. So it only makes sense for the NFL to hold on. But I am so with Ryan on this, 100% backing. And Louis, you're wrong.
This is an impromptu. Who's the idiot?
Yeah, please. And right now it's not you, Ryan.
Anybody watching that game and blaming anything else but the team is stuck in 17-year drought, woe is us mentality. That team sucked that day. Josh Allen was horrible, absolutely brutal. Went back to his normal or his young self. That the play at the half, if you want to blame one play at everything, the play at half at the end of the half gave the game. That's the 3 points and that's his mental mistake.
Calling Trey White play.
That was absolutely his stupidity. There was nobody that could watch that game and not see that was the dumbest thing ever. Ryan, you have to agree with that. That was a stupid play.
Yeah, for sure. I agree that there's mistakes, that they made a lot of mistakes. What I'm saying is it can also be true that they got hosed by the refs. I think that is simultaneously correct. Yes, they did.
If that makes you feel better, but I just think
feel better. I'm not going to feel better about it, but
no, it's so dumb.
The truth. There are multiple reasons they lost that game, and to acknowledge or to refuse to acknowledge that the refs played some part in it with some questionable calls at the end, which we're not going to get in. We don't need to,
If they call the holding if they call the holding on us in the end zone, the game's over right there. And Denver still has Bo Nix. Like, they have a gripe right now. The Denver fans are saying if they called that holding call, the game ends on a safety and Bo Nix never gets hurt. And that was a clear hold too. I mean,
you could do that all over. You could do that throughout the whole game, and I get that. But when you highlight the Cooks catch, the pass interference calls, which really I think the most egregious of them was the Trey White one, and then just again comparing it with how they called all game. I just really have a problem with how they called the game. So.
See how the PIs. I think the 2 PIs on the Bills the last series were fine. I thought that they were right. to your point, what I want then is if those are the ones you're calling PIs, Brandon Cooks in the end zone, what was it, a couple series before that, was clearly held, and that was a PI. So like whatever, but yeah, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the world. He is the most amazing. I'm so ecstatic that he's here. This was not his best game. I mean, he obviously felt that way, looking at how distraught he was, and that, that's sad to see, but he felt that. I think he was playing hurt. Obviously the foot injury was announced today, but I think he had a lot more injuries. I mean, the hand was bothering him so many games. You saw him shaking the hand. The injury that he got in, what was it, the Cleveland game, where there's so much stuff there that I think he really was playing with. And so I'm not trying to not give him excuses, like whatever, he had a bad game, but one of them was a mental mistake, and that one was pretty much what caused it. And don't forget, he missed Knox for the game winner right there, and that wasn't a off the hands, that was 20 feet over his head. So
I know, not to immediately come to his defense, but with the Knox throw, there was an angle that I saw where there's a defender right in his face with his hand up, and I think Josh kind of it looks like he's trying to throw it around his hand, so he has to change the launch angle. I think that's why he, but when you're starting to talk about launch angle, you really are
yeah,
loser of a fan base. So whatever.
Okay, so two things on this game, guys. One is in terms of Josh Allen, he kept shaking the hand because yes, he's like a broken wrist. But when you trip when you're like walking in front of people, and then you have to be like, oh, do you think it was more like, oh, my wrist? Like I would have told, if I was losing a game, I would be a little dramatic on an injury like that. I will say that, or like, ow, my hip, and grab it, even if it didn't hurt. The other thing is in terms of whoever was in New York calling the games when they have to go to New York for it. What, if you could describe that person, what celebrity is it, or how would you describe them?
Be really funny. Let's see.
Pauly Shore, are we thinking?
Pauly Shore is good. Just imagining Pauly Shore just being like, that's really good. Huh.
I'm just imagining like
this guy.
I'm imagining like Gene Steratore evil brother. Like just God, how bad is that guy? He's so bad.
It's just Belichick still trying to ruin the game, just from afar.
It's his girlfriend. This is what
I know. I was like, even worse, it's his girlfriend. Well, we know what that game led to, and that's the next part of all this. McDermott gets fired. I want to start out by saying I think it was time for a change somewhere. I was the biggest Bean guy, and we have probably said it on this podcast. I've been all Bean against McDermott legitimately most of his tenure. The last 2 years, I think McDermott has truly evolved as a head coach, as far as trusting analytics, being a little bit more aggressive, and has done more with a really shitty defensive roster. I mean, he's had these two defensive rosters that Bean did not help him with, and he made him look really good. So I have shifted a little bit in these last couple of years to where if they fired Bean and not McDermott, I would have been fine with that move. I would have been fine if they got rid of both of them. I would have expected, if somebody said, hey, one of those two is getting fired at the end of the year, I would have expected it to be Bean. I am glad to have moved off of McDermott, especially if it's for, Kubiak or, one of these big names that is a younger offensive mind. So many things are shocking me about this. Let's, I guess, start with that. But I have so much that I want to talk about because the press conference included. So let's start with just your initial reactions.
I'm so disappointed. And, when you say you want something new and different, Yeah, we have a new stadium that's opening in 6 months, so that's something new and different. I can't imagine you're building and there's so many talks about who potentially can be here, and the two people are people that have a connection to the Bills. They were coordinators. Those are some rumors. I don't want to put anything out in the universe right now, but because I hope that Sean McDermott puts his hat in to get rehired. But I just it's so frustrating because for all of us here and many who are listening have been watching the Bills for 30, 40, 50, whatever, how many years. And this culture that we know of this new Bills era, which is the Josh Allen, which is the Sean McDermott era. And I know, Ryan, you kind of brought this up last week about this Josh Allen is the Sean McDermott era, Josh Allen. And the culture is so crucial, especially in building teamwork, which we all say how impressive the Bills are the last few years. And you're now just taking that and saying, yeah, he got you far, but this is on you. This is on you guys. Like the offense was bad, but like all this, it's so infuriating. And then also to start a new stadium and a new team completely from scratch. So imagine that we are not able to replicate any of this next year because of culture and all that stuff and new coaching skills and trying something different when you don't have to try something different, and then just blowing it up when we don't have to blow up the team. I just think it's stupid, and that's a very technical statement.
No, I think that's a really interesting perspective, Allie, because I don't share your fear about the bottom falling out, so to speak. But I know it's possible, it's reasonable that it could happen. So I guess I haven't really factored that possibility in. My initial reaction to this move was pretty close to stunned. I was not expecting them to move on from McDermott. And then the bigger stunner, as Louis alluded to, is the fact that they also then decided to keep Brandon Beane and promote him, so to speak, just with the title, to say, hey, you're our guy and you're going to do this more going forward. So I have been very critical of McDermott in the past because I think with 13 seconds, that was unforgivable. I know some players are disputing whether that was really on him or if it was on Leslie Frazier. I don't know. But, the buck stops with you as a head coach. And I think back then I would have been comfortable, might have been excited about a move back then. But truly, this does not feel like the right time in my estimation. And it's not based on anything that Sean could have or did do this year. And truthfully, I think people that have been most tuned into this team recognize that Sean was swinging above his weight class. He was, I think, doing a good job with the talent that had been assembled around him. I think it's a farce to believe that this is a championship caliber roster. I think Sean McDermott was spewing a lot of truth in the room in that meeting supposedly they had between Pegula, Beane, and McDermott, and I don't think they liked what they had to hear. But sometimes you have to hear that. You have to take your medicine. You have to listen. And if Pegula had the right people, in my opinion, if Pegula had the right people in his ear, giving him the advice that he should be getting this time, there's no way you make the move. And so just before we forget about anything else, it turned to something different today when you learn sort of that it was Pegula who made this decision unilaterally to fire McDermott just based on how he assessed the emotions in the locker room following a devastating loss. What process are you taking to decide the future of a head coach without, number one, factoring in your franchise quarterback's feelings on the subject, which he was not consulted with, and two, going off of just emotions and reading looks on players' faces, feeling like now you've hit a wall because these guys couldn't talk to you after the game. I mean, I feel like that's such a haphazard way of deciding the fate of your football team when it comes to the head coach, to not have a plan, to not have a list of candidates, to not have discussed or thought about who might become available and if we need to jump at someone. Just this whole thing reeks of desperation and reactionary, I'm going to just now make the decision and tell everyone that we're doing the right thing. And just last thing, sorry, I know I said last thing.
No, it's so good. It's
just quickly. I am so mad at the fact that Brandon Beane couldn't just take the layup that was right before him to say, I was wrong and I was a jerk about the wide receiver room. And, he had to blame it on the fact that he's,
He
He's a very
doubled down.
passionate person, and he needed to stand up for his wide receivers who couldn't defend themselves. Listen, you paid Josh Palmer $50 million. I think he'll be all right. You know, he'll be just fine. You don't have to worry about criticizing him. He was wrong, and he could have just gotten up there today and said, you know what? I think as the season played out, it didn't go the way that we expected. It did become a problem throughout the year because we didn't have players that stepped up and made the progress we thought they were going to do, and that's going to be a priority for me in the offseason. He would have been lauded, and that's all he needed to say. But instead, he gets up there and he doubles down, and he looks like an arrogant ass is really what he looks like. And so it just rubbed me the wrong way. It was a really bad press conference, and truthfully, I think it made, this is still the best job in the NFL. Okay, let's not lose sight of that. But I think it did lose some of the luster because you look at this ownership group and this management group, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a mess behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well said.
Today was absolutely a train wreck and horrible for those two men. I mean, they couldn't have represented themselves any worse than they did today. How one of them has made billions of dollars with that type of public speaking skills is baffling to me. It really is. I can't believe the Keon thing. I mean, I know you didn't mention it in the 30 hours you were just talking, but the Keon, the fact that he won threw McDermott under the bus for the Keon pick when Keon's on the roster still, you're basically saying, hey, we didn't want this guy. It wasn't us. And he's still on the effing roster. Whatever. The kid, I can't stand that he couldn't get his head straight this year, but don't beat him while he's down. And then there's literal video. There is video of Brandon Beane being excited about Keon running the 40 slow because he goes, oh, great, now we might get him. So Beane was 100% interested. And I think Beane checked Terry really quick on that. I think that was like Terry trying to hey, don't be mean to my guy here. But Beane checked him really quick and was like, no, I made that pick. It's my responsibility. I do like that he did that. But they just listen. I didn't need the last couple of days where everybody was like, "Where's the tribute video?" And they're not even being nice for everything. Listen, what job in the world do you get fired and then the next day they do a tribute video for you? I get that they don't need to go overboard, but the fact that they didn't even acknowledge it, that they were actually ruthless with their words and how they've just made this clean break from this guy who did build in this community, who did turn around the 17-year drought and made this organ. He is deserved to be lauded for a lot of different things he did here. I don't want culture. I want a championship ring. I don't give a shit about a culture if there's a ring. And that's all I really care about. I don't care. I'm done with the likable guys. I'm done with the Kyle Williams and the preseason guys that we want to get excited about. And there are guys. Get me all the assholes that are going to win me one championship ring.
What is your beef with Kyle Williams? You always mention Kyle Williams.
I do. It is me because it's just everybody thinks he was the best NFL player that ever played because
he's so likable enough.
He was. He's the coolest guy. I love him to death. I'm one of them.
But you kind of just contradicted yourself a little bit because I'm gonna be on to and I don't know how to. I hope this comes out correctly, but with Terry Pagula, what he said, you have to also say that that is not an easy thing for him to have to say. He didn't have to be the one to announce that. So you know what? He had one of the hardest statements Buffalo had to hear all week, and he did it. So good on him. I don't agree with it, but Terry Pagula doing you kind of said that he about the Keon thing and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, no. But that has nothing. That was literally Brandon. They asked Brandon Beane about it, and they said, "Let me interrupt," and then he threw McDermott under the bus.
Right. That's what I would say though is, I think what the Bills did not expect, which is that's the PR, that's the day after, that's the let's fix this Coleman thing is, and so anyone who's not in Buffalo, and you might have seen it on social media if you are not from Buffalo, but there was a lot of reaction. there's a school down the street from me. It's a Catholic girls' school, and it said, "Thank you so much, Coach McDermott." Like, people are sad. This is like 90% plus of people are not happy about this. People on the NFL Network are, so I think they're kind of trying to scramble and say, oof, because we tend to do crowd mentality. And I think they thought, like what usually happens when we lose a game, they say, we got to fire this one. We got to fire this one. And to Brandon Beane's, I'll applaud him on this. He saved his job. Whatever he did, however he got it, like whether I agree or not, he saved his job, which is smart on him to do that. But I don't agree with it, but I don't know.
I don't think the Bills spent one iota of planning of how this would be received by the Buffalo media or the fan base, because it was Terry's decision in a locker room after a Denver game. That's what he said.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it I don't believe it for a heartbeat. I know he said that today, but I got a text 2 weeks ago that I didn't believe, told the guy it was crazy, that said McDermott's out no matter what happens here, and they like Kubiak. And I thought it was I thought that was crazy. I said, I literally told the guy, F off. I think this has been, I don't know if it was definitely, like I said, I don't know if he had already made his mind about McDermott, but I do think with the dissension that they both went to him, maybe both of them went to him and was like, it's one or the other. And, it would have been really hard to fire either of them after a Super Bowl winning team. But anything short, I think one of them was getting fired. I hate how they treated today, but I am excited for a new coach to be on this team. I also don't believe that, I know he said it again, the way that they acted today and the actual lies that they told on the podium, I don't know what's true. So I'm just going to believe what I think happened and not what Terry's telling me to happen. And there's no way they didn't go to Josh. I do not believe that in a heartbeat. They're not going to sit there and be like, Josh gave us the approval, because they don't want to have them thrown under the bus. But I do in 0% did they not go to him first.
The easier answer there would have been, we had discussions with Josh, but we're going to keep those internal, because that's how you diffuse the situation. All the fan base wants to know. We don't need to know what Josh's input was, but all I would have cared to know is whether he was consulted. They basically said no, he wasn't. And you know how quickly Terry, how he answered that question? He basically said no, but he will be in this new coaching search. Like, he kind of, I think, to me, looked almost apologetic there, like, yeah, I kind of screwed up, and I do believe that this was Terry's decision. Maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid. And I also don't know if it was a bald-faced lie to say that it was a McDermott decision on Coleman. I think what happened is that throughout the process, right, you have a draft board of these different positions and who you're ranking. I think probably at the end of the day, at the draft, Beane probably had a different ranking than McDermott, with Coleman being the best and maybe Beane having somebody else there, but it was probably close. And he, I'm sure, just said, okay, then we'll go with the guy the coach wants. That's probably what happened. So there can be some truth, I think, to both sides of that. I just think overall, and quickly on Kubiak, I'm not as impressed as everyone else seems to be on him. I saw one of my buddies actually texted that he looked up like his neutral pass rate, and it's like one of the lowest in the NFL, like really heavy in the run. And truthfully, if that is the game that we want to play with Josh Allen as a 30-year-old quarterback, man, that sucks. Come on, let's get aggressive. Let's go back to Brian Daboll, and Davis Webb ball, where, let's get him as head coach, Davis Webb as OC, and whoever is a smart defensive coordinator, and sign me up for that right now.
I like the Kubiak idea. It's not my top pick. I really like now I'm gonna forget it, Dansky, the offensive coordinator from the Jaguars, 30 years old, worked under Cohen and Kevin O'Connell. Like, I love that tree. Obviously, that's exciting. I want somebody that's played PS5. That's what I want for my head coach. I want somebody young enough that is, all analytics, all, knowing that you have the best quarterback in the league and playing aggressively with them. The Kubiak thing does scare me because of that. Like, his run rate is even more so than Brady. But at the end of the day, this team did show that They were a good running team.
But,
I don't want that, but
also, what happened in the playoffs when James Cook gets stifled? Who is there to save your ass against Jacksonville? Okay?
Exactly.
That's why I just don't think it's a sustainable model. And I hope that they have internal conversations about, listen, how do we want to win games? I want to go back to scoring. Yeah, we got to figure out defensively how to not let Denver score 30. But I want to go back to those games where it's just like run and gun, get a alpha wide receiver. Yeah, I'm ready for a change in that regard.
The list that came out today of all the guys that they plan on interviewing feels like a list of just, hey, we're working, but we're waiting. Yep. And I truly think that they're waiting. I think that this list feels very first roundish. Hey, we're giving you, we want to show you that we're working on it. We want to make sure no one blows us out of the water, but we want Kubiak, or I think the Davis Webb thing is real.
100%.
Dude, he's one of Josh's best friends. I mean, if Josh is really going to have any say in this, if he's not the head coach, I think he would at least make the move over to be the OC under Dable. I don't want Brady to be our head coach. I would anything. Oh my God, anything but Brady. Anything but Brady. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's a option.
First interview. I also thought when Brandon Beane today mentioned how there might also be candidates who are in positions where they can't, take any more interviews or make decisions. Now that was definitely, in my opinion, might be against Kubiak, right? Your source or somebody telling you that, but I really think it's Davis Webb that they're targeting. I mean, it just makes too much sense. He has all of the. I mean, you have players talking about him like he's going to be like the next amazing, Ben Johnson like offensive mind. Great. I just want to take a swing on that. If Kurt Cignetti is going to go, let me go to Davis Webb as OC or head coach, and then maybe Dayball in here too.
Do you worry, both of you? Yeah, Allie, start. Do you worry that this isn't anything in life, right? Like if you're one of your friends is your boss, like I'm a little worried about the cowboy in Josh Allen working under one of his friends and being like, I'm just going to go out and do dumb shit all the time, because he's got that in him sometimes. Like, you worried about that at all?
I'm just worried that we're going to make a bad decision and pick up like Pete Carroll and be like, yeah, he's 85 now. Let's I'm telling him or Mike Tomlinson or something, I don't know.
I don't think that they make a retread thing. I really don't think. I think they're smart enough not to do that. I don't see any of the retreads come. I think it's going to be young and innovative, and the thing with young and innovative, it's just like a swing for the fences, right? Like it could be a total disaster, or it could be we got the next great mind. And
and to your point, or to your question, I think Josh Allen is so mature, and especially with this game, and so obsessed with it that, it would be funny, like your best friend saying, "Okay, everyone." Hit the books, go to bed early. And he's like, yeah, whatever. But I think Josh Allen is he's an intellectual player. So I think he could respect his friend as head coach, but I think he would probably talk shit about like, hey, I'm making more money than you. I think that's kind of the stuff he would pull. Not but
I don't have any concern at all. And it's because I think that in this situation, you want a coordinator who's like simpatico with your thinking, right? You want someone who is in tune with how you want to approach the game. And if you're best buddies with somebody, and this guy is also described as someone who really understands. I mean, the Bills wanted to make him a player coach when he was here. They offered him a job as a coach when he was still a player here because they wanted him on the staff. He's supposedly really bright. I just feel like it makes all the sense in the world. You have someone that's going to make Josh happy. And he also checks all the offensive boxes. He's the leading candidate, in my opinion, for a job here, whether that's OC or head coach.
Yeah, I definitely think that happens, OC or coach. I like Udinski, like I said. I'm not totally. I think I'm starting to warm up to the Dable idea more so because I think it's very realistic, and I'm trying to condition myself into like being okay with it if it happens. I just not sure if he's a great coach. I say just hire a great defensive coordinator, make Josh Allen head coach / offensive coordinator, let him whip his dick out every game, do whatever the hell he wants, and hopefully he we trade James Cook for some wide receiver help, and all we do is throw. I don't know.
The great Sean McDermott, trust the process, right?
Oh, that's a good way to get off of that. I'll let you. I love everything he did. I love that he broke this. I don't think he was going to win the Super Bowl here. I think he's going to be super successful somewhere else. He's going to get a job right away. He's going to make that team 10-6 and 11-5 every year and never win a Super Bowl. But he will be very good.
Yep, he's going to be the next Steelers head coach. He's, I think he's still young enough for them to be interested in him. I feel like that's a match. He was a Pittsburgh
match made in heaven. Made in heaven.
So perfect.
Pittsburgh or Baltimore. If he goes to Baltimore, we play in Baltimore, I think, next year, and that would be the opening game of the year for sure. Thursday night or Sunday night, like he's going to coach against us next year. I hope he gets a job because he deserves one. He deserves a job. He's good for the NFL. I just, this was not it. It was just even the chemistry. Like I said, I would have been almost equally fine if they would have fired Bean. It was these two were not on the same page how to build this roster, and something needed to happen. Sucks, but it did.
I know. Well, we are 41 minutes in, and still these two men have not noticed my haircut I got 2 hours ago.
I noticed that.
All right.
You got it. Is it layered a thing? Did you get it layered?
I literally got bangs. Men always talk shit about women getting bangs. Like, what happened? And then Louis heard about my week at work a lot. But thank you, right? Thank you. All right, I guess we're gonna stop talking about football for a little bit and get into everything and nothing. Anyone new listening, this is where I talk about pop culture things that have to do with sports, things that have nothing to do with sports, but I love the hot take from the gentleman on this podcast. So we're gonna do something fun just because it's I don't know, it's Wednesday. I'm going to give you some statistics that sound impossible but are true. So here's something. Nearly 20 million Americans believe they've seen a UFO at least once. Ryan, how many UFOs have you seen in your life?
None, I think. But I would say I'm not surprised by that number at all. If I lived in like Nevada, I feel like the chances of me seeing one would be like very likely. I feel like I'd be seeing it all the time. So I'm not surprised by 20 million. And they do probably exist, I'm going to say. So I'm not all of those people are crazy. Just probably like 19 million of them are crazy.
Yeah, just the ones on shrooms. I get it.
Whoa!
That was for you, bud. That was for you.
I have never seen. It's the same thing like with ghosts. Like I never have seen one. People I really respect and trust have said that they have. I don't ever want to be proven wrong on either case, ghosts or aliens. But I don't want to say I truly believe, but just don't ever prove me wrong. Dad or Elf. Or Elf. One of the two. I never want to meet either of you again.
It makes sense. There's this I read a couple weeks ago that your brain, where it's a crazy muscle, right? But when you're really tired, your brain, there's like a certain level that it starts kind of manipulating your vision. And so many people who are they think they see a ghost. It could be a manipulation of your brain being super tired. Also, there's another stat that I've read before that I just love brain studies, that you only see like 10% of what's in front of you, and your brain makes up all this stuff. So what you see over here in your peripheral isn't exactly what it is. It's just your brain kind of saying this is familiar, and it's kind of duplicating what it's seen before. So I always find that to be interesting. So who knows? But I also don't want to be proven wrong. And as a person that grew up Catholic, holy water helps, right? Splash. Okay.
How great would it be if aliens were real and they looked exactly like ET? Like we just holy shit, we nailed it. Like, literally
Like,
got it right.
oh shit, Steven Spielberg nailed it.
Yeah. Do it again. So lovely. So this is a stat I'm going to read you, and I feel like one of you or both of you will get it, which is just very interesting. This is a sport related stat, but an NFL game lasts over 3 hours on TV, but the ball is an actual live play for only how many minutes? Does anyone want to take a guess?
I know this.
I know you.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay. Ask the ghost behind you, Louie. What do you think?
I'm going to say somewhere like I'm trying to think, like 40 seconds wasted off of most. 28 minutes.
28 minutes. Ryan, you said 6?
Yes.
The answer is 11 minutes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So as we all are obsessed over football and all that stuff, this once again proves how great the game of soccer is, as they have controlled the ball for literally 90 minutes. Okay. Okay. So here's a fun fact for at least one of you. Sharks were swimming in the ocean over.
I'm going on a cruise in 2 days, and you know this. You absolutely know this. Go ahead.
Yes. No. This is a fun fact. Fun fact.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm going to change this. Fun fact. Sharks eat humans. No, I'm joking. Sharks were swimming the oceans over 400 million years ago, long before trees ever existed. So, like, just imagine you're like a shark and you're just swimming through stuff and you're like, hey man, and then you're going through like the coast and there's like, oh, this is cool, and then like you're like, this coastline sucks, and then like you have a grandpa, and then like you're the grandbaby, and then you see a tree, and then he's like, in my day, and you're like, shut up, grandpa, you don't know anything, and like I just think that's kind of
Wait a second. I am confused about this timeline. Were there people? Were there people alive?
No, 400 million years ago. Well, if you know anything about science, that people
that's the thing, because weren't trees oxygen, right? Yes.
So sharks are like very old. So they are. Some would call them dinosaur age. 400 million years ago, humans were
The Pete Carroll of the ocean.
Yes. Yeah. You're chewing on algae like. I love them so much. The little headset. Yeah. So before humans, before trees, sharks were just like. I mean, I'm sure they're like that weird looking thing with just like cataract eyes and like three weird jaw lines, and but yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. And then because you're going to be using recycled water, Louie, more people in the world own a mobile phone than a toothbrush.
What?
Yeah, isn't that kind of goofy? Or how many people have a track phone that they're just there's like 9.
Wait a second. Is this more so of a updated toothbrush? Because I fall under that sometimes. Is it like when you're supposed to change your toothbrush, you think this is? Because I do stretch mine out like a week too long sometimes. And when I say a week, I mean I notice it a week after, and then I stretch out a toothbrush a little bit too much, I think.
How long is too much? I mean, like, are you saying
I brush my teeth like 5 times a day because I'm like weird and OCD. So like I brush them every time after I eat, like a million times. So like I don't know. I work through them pretty quickly. I buy them in packs for sure.
Yeah. You are supposed to change your pillow every 2 months, by the way. So
yeah, I heard I was supposed to.
I'm sorry, 2 years, not 2 months. 2 years.
I heard I was supposed to change my sheets every 2 weeks about a year ago, and wasn't doing that. But I am now. But I let it go a little bit longer than 2 weeks.
Shout out to the future Mrs. Louie.
I thought when Louie was talking about having an updated toothbrush, he was talking about like an electric one. He was like, I don't think it matters if it has a battery in it, but okay.
Yeah, your Oral-B adapter hasn't been changed in. I was like, okay, that's fine. That's
We were going to talk the conference finals, but we don't have a lot of time, so we will go into our draft. But real quick, obviously Denver loses. I like the Rams, and then I would like I'm sorry, did I say Denver? Yeah, so New England Rams, and I think the Rams win. If you want to run real quick.
Yeah, listen, I don't care. I hope everybody ties. Not have a Super Bowl this year because I'm not watching it. So
all right,
fuck the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Let's go hockey, right?
Yeah, go Sabres.
Yeah.
You want?
All right, so we are going to draft something that Ryan and I will not. Well, yeah, Ryan and I will not be watching, and that's the.
I don't know if I will be. I'm not like overly thrilled with it either. Like I don't know if I will.
What? Well, I think the whole point of this one is to watch it also just to be like, haha, take that, nerds, we're watching it. So maybe just to, make those dorks, whatever. Anyway, so let's draft. This is how everyone feels in Buffalo right now, just so you know.
Yeah, I know. You said we've done this before. We may have. I don't know. But you're going to go first here. And then, Ryan, you're 2. I'm 3.
Nice.
I feel like we have way different boards here, knowing our 3 tastes in music. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Sally, what's the number 1?
My number 1 is 2007 Prince.
Yeah.
He's one of those artists that I didn't get to see in real life, and man, I wish I got to. And that was an amazing show and really impressive. And long live Prince.
All right. Well, there's definitely I think pretty clearly the number 1. There's a close number 2 in my opinion. I'm gonna go with Michael Jackson, 1993. The most iconic part of this, I think, is like him standing out there and just like building up that that excitement and then starting. And yeah, he's all-time legend, one of the greatest ever. So yeah, that's my first pick.
I'm probably good to save this one with you guys, I think, but I'm gonna go because it is Prince was second on my list, by the way. This one was first on my list, and it's Dr. Dre and Friends in 2022. Dre and Snoop and Lamar, Mary J and Eminem and 50 Cent. That was like, it was just another banger after banger coming out. A lot of it was surprises. That was really cool. And then my next one in order, I absolutely love this band story. But I went to go see them once and got really high. And the next day, I was late for softball. I had a softball game at 10 o'clock in the morning. I got there at 10:15. I had to take over. One of our friends' dads was out there pitching. I had to take over, and he looked at me and goes, "What happened?" And I just look at him. I go, "The fucking Stones, man. The fucking Stones." And the Rolling Stones. One of my favorite live concerts ever. I went to the stadium that is now going to be dying to see them. Coolest thing. I love the band, and that halftime show was pretty iconic. Stones.
All right, good picks. I'm gonna go with the very impressive Lady Gaga. 2017.
Yes.
She's pretty great, so I'll go with her.
I love it. Gaga was on my list. Great show and very fun live. I'm gonna go as Louis and his unnamed dog and my 2 good boys would love this. But the 2009 Puppy Bowl, which was the 5th Puppy Bowl, where the MVP Matilda won. Matilda was a 9-week-old eagle, and the craziest thing about this show was that in one single play, good girl Matilda took the little football in her mouth and went from the end zone to end zone to end zone. She did 3 touchdowns back to back, and they call that each a touchdown. Like you don't have to like go to your own side. It's just thanks for crossing that line once you're a dog. But it was wild, and what a good girl, 9-week old, and it was crazy. It was the 5th one, and it was so good. That's my number 2 of all time. My number 3 best halftime show is going to be Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Last year, that was just amazing. I love that he brought out the bootleg gene. But it's just the greatest diss of all. It was so perfect. And if you've seen any of these TikTok or Instagram reels of people just picking apart every single thing that he did with intention, it shows why he is so brilliant. I mean, there's many reasons why he's, he win a Nobel Peace Prize. Am I making it? He won. But it's just beautiful and amazing. And what the song of the summer, all this stuff. But Kendrick Lamar.
All right. I'm going to go with J-Lo and Shakira.
Oh, man. You sniped me. You sniped me, man. That's a snipe.
It is.
That is a snipe,
Listen,
man.
I think Shakira is like so talented. Like she's got such a great voice.
Sure you do.
Listen, I must say, yeah. I mean, I also the zebra, or no, the what the hell was her animal in Zootopia? She sings a song in Zootopia that my daughters love, so that's another bonus. So yeah, Shakira and J-Lo in 2020.
I love that it was like the song that she sings in Zootopia. I'm like, that ass so, that ass so brown. That's why I would have picked her. I mean, those are two. That's my age group. Those are two of my loves from my childhood. That's a great pick, which is putting me in a rough spot here. I really just want to like preemptively put in Bad Bunny just for all the great comments on Twitter. There's going to be of all the racists that I can't wait to troll the whole time. It's going to be so incredible. And I think he will put on a great show. I love me some Bad Bunny.
I will watch Bad Bunny, by the way. I want that number up. So yes.
If I lost Shakira and J-Lo, I'm gonna go to my next girlfriend, and that's Rihanna. She crushed that. The whole, reveal, everything was awesome. And she is the love of my life. I'm between a few things here. I'm gonna go Bruno Mars and Red Hot Chili Peppers, only because it was so different. The two styles, they're two of my like underrated favorites. I think Bruno's a great performer, and I really love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I just thought that was a really cool collab that year.
All right. I'm going to go back to 2001 here. I got to get Britney Spears, Nelly. I guess NSYNC was there too. Don't really care. Aerosmith and Mary J. Blige. That's cool. So mostly for Britney Spears and Nelly for me, but like Britney Spears is my first celeb crush. So, I got a pretty strong team. And as Louis pointed out, also Shakira, did you know, sang the song from Zootopia? I don't know if that was Louis' reason.
So good. That was the year Britney Spears wore like socks as gloves. It was like football socks. I think that was her costume.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this, I know I picked Matilda as my that was my number 3, right? Number 2. But I'm a massive Beatles fan, and Paul McCartney did the halftime show in 2005. And I remember it was a very safe pick, but anytime to see Sir Paul McCartney, just magical. So
I was waiting to see when you got there for sure, because I thought he'd be your first round pick, but I'm glad he got there.
Yeah. I also had, is everyone at 4 now?
Yeah, you could give up some.
I almost picked 2012 Puppy Bowl when Aberdeen wasn't the MVP, and Aberdeen's Australian Shepherd, and she scored 4 points in the game, which is the highest score for any Puppy Bowl puppy. And this dog who slept the entire like an entire quarter. That dog, like the entire time was like sleeping because he was so tired because he's a good boy. But that dog won MVP just for being like cute. And that was very controversial. That was very.
So there's hope for Keon Coleman.
Now that you did that or did the puppy bowl, I started trying to think of like I remember they used to do Simpsons, right? Like they did a Simpsons episode during halftime that they would want people to turn to. I know some of those were good. One I think had something about the Bills in it. What were there were some other TV shows that like had special like Super Bowl. I think Friends maybe done it one year. So those are all fun to think of. But as far as a couple of concerts I missed, man, Ryan took so many of my ladies. Beyonce, no one mentioned, and I liked Katy Perry and Missy. I have a weird crush on both of them, actually, for two very different reasons. But I do have a weird crush on each of them.
Super Fly, great album.
It wasn't a Super Bowl performance, but I also wish I could have taken the Creed, the Thanksgiving, I think, Day performance.
Oh, yeah,
he comes down from the rafters, like that's epic.
That was unfortunate that we just ended a really great podcast with that.
That was very nice. That was we disagreed, but we didn't want to punch anybody, and we didn't scream or yell. And I honestly think we voiced. I think Allie is on one side, I'm on one side, and I think Ryan is probably like I feel like we are representing the Buffalo fandom right now because I think in most rooms of 3. That type of conversation would be happening. So I'm glad like, there's assholes like you and smart people like me.
Aligned, but all right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you for noticing my haircut. Hello? Good luck watching football this week if we care anymore. Most of us, at least in Western New York, are dead inside. But this is the fun part of football, right? Where it gets stressful and it's all or nothing. So enjoy upcoming week 22 and Louis, be safe. Don't get hurt by a shark, and we will see you soon. This is Analytics for the Nerds.
Wait, Ellie,